Yeah, that's probably a good sign. Hey everybody, this is AlchemistiD, and we are back in Star Trek Online. This is going to be kind of a vlog. I just wanted to show that I have been playing the game. I have been playing Delta Rising. I actually have the Tier 6 Fleet Exploration Cruiser right now. I actually decided what the hell and dropped probably the first money I've ever dropped in this game since 2011. On getting the Andromeda, and then the server issues promptly convinced me that this would be the last time I ever dropped money on this game, because holy shit. So this game was actually fairly stable about a month ago. I started playing it, working my way through the Delta missions. I've got a lot to say about those. But recently, the servers have started shitting themselves fairly hard. I cannot spin in a circle without rubber banding backwards through the circle, as you were seeing. That's kind of become my test, that's what I would do to test how stable the connection was, can I complete a single revolution without rubber banding backwards through a circle about like 180 to a full 360 degrees? And I can do that here, but I was playing it earlier tonight, and I kept getting server not responding errors, and just all kinds of ridiculous shit. Like, I could not complete a single mission without having server issues. So apparently Neverwinter just launched an expansion, and they are pushing pre-patching to their patch server. This being cryptic, their servers are not particularly sturdy, so yeah, bad shit. So this is actually an SFV, a SFV cast. I still need to name that. I just wanted to have a little bit of a background to this one. And let's go ahead and jump into all that glitters.
All that glitters. Yes. Yes, all that glitters.
All that glitters is a really shitty backdrop.
We've arrived in the Shenda system, Captain. The distress signal is coming from the transport dead ahead, but we've received no response to our hails. I'll keep trying, but perhaps our guest knows more.
I'm not cutting that out.
The EMH known as the Doctor is on a nearby shuttle and awaiting our hail.
I'm trying to give like Revan a sort of like Riemann gravelly voice. I'm not doing it very well. Takes to the Doctor shuttle, except don't. That is... There's been a lot of this so far in Delta Rising. A lot of this going on. There's been some impressive looking backdrops, and then there's been a lot of backdrops that look like this, that are just the most perfectly hideous backdrops you have ever seen in your life. I'm not joking when I say I make better backgrounds in 20 minutes in, like, GIMP shop than this. Okay, like the shitty star fields you see me using, like the star fields I use for, like, intros and outros, like all the star fields I used for, like, Rise of the Red Shirt and such, all of those were made from scratch in GIMP. I didn't download those. I made them all. So yeah, I can legitimately say that I've made better backdrops in like 20 minutes in GIMP shop than somebody who's had like an actual budget. And budget is one of the things I want to talk about in this video. Okay. So, you may be noticing that, the game seems pretty smooth. In fact, it seems smoother than it ever has when I've been recording it, aside from the shitty server difficulties. That is because the absence that I have taken has been to upgrade this machine. That's what I've been doing. I've upgraded the power supply, I've upgraded the RAM, I've upgraded the CPU to a quad-core APU. I basically doubled. I went through a 3.7 dual-core CPU to a 3.7 quad-core APU. So I've doubled my processing power. I've doubled the RAM. I've got a better power supply in there. I've got a new graphics card on the way. I've got a solid state drive. I've got an ADATA 250 gigabyte solid state drive, so things load snappy. Things load snappy. And I've got the games I play the most, with the exception of Star Trek Online, because of how bulky this game gets. This is a big install, so I keep it on the old hard drive from my other computer. Or the old new hard drive from my other computer, anyways. And I have it sort of like linked as a library for Steam. I'm playing the game through Steam because I didn't want to buy anything through Perfect World site. I'd rather buy it through Steam Wallet. So I'm playing the game through Steam from now on. So yeah, it's pretty snappy now. I'm not pushing it too hard right now. You'll notice I don't have things set very high because I don't have a new cooler in there yet, so I don't want to overtax that CPU. I don't want to go near overtaxing that CPU until I have a decent cooling unit in there. And the tower that I ordered, I have a Cooler Master. I have a Cooler Master Evo 212, which is a really good CPU cooler, and I have that. But the problem is, the tower that I ordered, the wrong dimensions were posted. It said it was about 10 inches wide. It was more like 6. So there's nothing I can do about that. It's a decent tower. It's a decent little tower. You know, it's a decent tower for like micro ATX builds. It's got plenty of airflow. I toyed with the idea of maybe just putting everything in there anyways and just like having like the extra airflow helping to compensate for the lack of a really good cooler. But I think I'm just going to wait and buy a decent tower with a good cooler anyways. Order them together so they both come in at the same time. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, the first rebuild of this computer is complete, essentially. This computer is in its somewhat final state. There's just a few things missing from it, and then it'll be in its somewhat final state. I say somewhat because I'll of course be upgrading it. So yeah, this thing's ready to roll. It's not the only thing that's been upgraded either, because the new Galaxy model, I have to say, looks gorgeous compared to the old one. We have graduated from the Mnemonic 81 days of the ridiculous Galaxy 2.0 to the Scotch and Soda days of this one. And I can see they've tried to go the DJ Curtis route a little bit and trade off some of the details between the 4-foot model and the 6-foot model. Of course, it's not as gorgeous as the DJ Curtis, but I doubt you could expect any game like any game, like any developer, because DJ Curtis spent just a ridiculous amount of time on that Galaxy model. So this is fantastic, though. This is the way it should have always looked. And like I said this. And I was saying this to Andrew when they started launching like the Guardian. When I saw that they were launching a Galaxy-like ship, and my first thought was, is there going to be a usable Galaxy skin for it? And they were like, no, they weren't going to have any Galaxy skins for Tier 6. I was like, watch this thing fall on its face. Watch them make a Tier 6 Galaxy, because people don't want to fly a Galaxy-like ship. They want to fly the Galaxy at Tier 6. Like, here's a ship that's just like the Galaxy, except it's not. No, they want to fly the Galaxy. Oh, and look, we have a Tier 6 Galaxy now. So far, I've been wondering if people have been picking up phones playing through Delta Rising because of the sheer volume of shit that I have been calling all along. I've called a lot. I've called a lot in this game where the plot was going. Seriously, just go back and watch my old videos. I hope you picked up those phones because I was calling them. But yeah, this is also not the only thing that's been upgraded, because I've had some quality of life upgrades as well. Now, I do have a new job. That's how I can afford all the new parts. And so, new job, steady pay, means a bit of a better budget to play with. So, one of the things that I've gotten for myself is a HP Elite book. It's a 2.4 dual core with about 4 gigs of DDR3, which means it's a decent render machine. So that's what I have it for. So I have this networked. I have this on our wireless network here, and what I'm using it for, because the most time-consuming things, like recording is not the most time-consuming part of this. The most time-consuming part is what happens after you record. It's the converting, it's the rendering, it's the uploading. Those parts together take forever. So while you're doing this, while you're converting, while you're rendering, you walk away from your PC because there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. It's a brick for the next 5 to 8 hours, essentially. So, you can't record, you can't do anything. So, I've gotten around this by getting this laptop. Or laptop, not laptop. Blah. So, from now on, this is going to be handling all of the recording, not recording, but all of the converting, editing, rendering, and uploading. All the utilitarian tasks are going to be on this. Stuff that I want fine editing for, such as intros and such, I'll probably still do on my PC. But this is going to be the workhorse from now on for all the working stuff related to getting the footage up. And I actually just did a test run with a bunch of Xenoverse footage. Oh, yes, I told you there was a lot of Xenoverse footage coming, didn't I? So I recorded a bunch of Xenoverse footage before I started making the upgrades, and I've finally gotten to editing that. I batch converted it. That took a few hours. And then I batch edited it together, and then I batch rendered it. That took about 5 hours. So I'm thinking that was a really good test run of what this laptop can do, and it handled it with flying colors, and it's all there. It's all done. It's all ready to be uploaded. It'll be uploaded with this. There's the server not responding. I am literally doing nothing. I am sitting there staring at the image. I'm sitting there staring at the screen, and there's the server not responding, which is ridiculous. It's not responding to me doing nothing. I'm doing nothing right now. I am literally doing nothing. So, yeah. So, that's going to handle all of those tasks. That's going to save me so much time. Because time is now at a premium because I have this new job. And I get maybe 2 days a week off, essentially. So I got to make the best of this time that I have that's on my own time to do this stuff. So there you are. So this way I can set it to batch render, go to sleep. Don't need to babysit it anymore. Set it to batch convert, go to sleep. Don't need to babysit it. Just hit the button and walk away and forget about it for the next 8 hours. This is great. That's going to save me so much time and effort. So yeah, there's a bunch of Xenoverse footage coming. There's actually several weeks worth of Xenoverse footage. If you see a normal size update is a couple hours a week of game footage, then there's a lot of there's a lot of updates coming this week with Xenoverse. It basically as many weeks as I haven't been updating worth of footage is coming of Xenoverse. And what the footage is my quest before, weeks ago. I recorded this a while ago, to unlock Bardock and Broly and all of the salt that ensued. And if you play Xenoverse, you know the mission I'm talking about. Yeah. It gets rough. So, Expect a lot of salt. Oh, yeah. So, in other news, before I get this mission rolling, Patreon is going to be handling all of the Vatmos bullshit. Patreon basically have gone, leave it to us. So, what this means is I don't have to worry about it. So, the Patreon's back on, and I'm getting ready just to put those plans into fruition, or action, and we'll see if they come to fruition. Fruition is good. I've heard fruition is nice. So, I think I've put talking about this off long enough. Star Trek Online. So, the problem with a game that relies upon conditioning people to grind endlessly to accomplish anything, and I do mean anything because the level requirements are steep in Delta Rising. You've got a lot of grinding to do to level up before you get to the next plot mission. The problem with a game that relies on that to retain a player base, and the big problem I have with D'Angelo's approach, because you can see D'Angelo's approach in full force here. D'Angelo was talking about, this was last year, about how he wanted to put more grinding in the game as a means to retain those players, to keep those players. So he's literally relying on behavioral conditioning to keep those players here. But the problem with relying on behavioral conditioning to keep a player base is when the player is separated from your game long enough, for whatever reason, they're going to realize how much extra time they have to do all kinds of things that they'll actually enjoy. So when I left Star Trek Online is when I played Freedom Planet. It's when I played Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. I started playing Skyrim again. You know, I started screwing around in Source Filmmaker and like putting like Big Boss in wrestling matches with like Albert Wesker and like the fucking Elimination Chamber. You know, it's just Big Boss won, by the way. You know, it's just like all kinds of stuff. It's it's when I started like LPs of like Resident Evil Revelations, which I'm getting back to. Believe me, I'm actually recording that later. I'm recording that after this, and it's when I started like replaying all these like classic games on the PS3 and playing the hell out of Armored Core Verdict Day and play Phantasy Star Online again, and just all of this amazing stuff that I'd been putting off because Star Trek Online was taking... And sorry, I just overloaded the mic a little bit, but because Star Trek Online was taking so much of my time. You don't realize it. I'm sure people who've played WoW and EVE have felt the same way when they've walked away from those games. It's like, how much time do you have now to do all kinds of other stuff? Like, how much time has this game been forcing you to toil in order to accomplish anything? So, has it been fun coming back to Star Trek Online? Sure. I've played through a couple Q events with Andrew and the gang from Temporal Directive. Big thanks to Temporal Directive, by the way, for the Fleet Andromeda and I disabled the UI. And for these vulnerability locator consoles. Big thanks to you guys. Have I enjoyed my time back here? Absolutely. Do I intend to grind away again in this game? No. No. You can go to Yuzrol for that insane shit. Okay, like Yuzrol is nuts. Yuzrol has been diligently covering this game, and I really like. If you've never checked out Yuzrol's stuff, by all means, go check it out. It's great. He's great. He's really funny. I will. Rise of the Red Shirt will continue. Now that the game is somewhat playable, maybe. We'll see how the servers handle. We're going to see. But will I be grinding away like I was before? No. No. Speaking of that, oh, the dilithium exchange is disabled. Okay. Yeah, I bought the Steam wallet, so the game is freaking. I was like, you can't sell Zen. You can't do anything. It's what are you doing? Well, I don't know you're back, and you're spending. You haven't spent money on this game. The game itself is freaking out about the fact that I have not dropped money on this game in like fucking 3 years. The game itself can't believe. It's like, what is this? Holy shit! So I'm not gonna be grinding an insane amount of time away in this game anymore. I'm actually breaking one of my rules though, and one of my rules was I've actually broken it a lot. Is I'm not gonna be like spending all my days off playing this game. Because I don't want to fall into that trap of behavioral conditioning that the game had me in before I left. I don't want to fall into that again, so I'm not going to be spending all my days like playing this piece of shit. I got to beat Resident Evil Revelations 2 now that it works, now that it functions, and I've got my computer upgraded. I want to beat that game. I want to keep recording Revelations 1. I want to play more Xenoverse now that they've fixed the fucking RNG and I can actually unlock stuff now. I want to play some Xenoverse and like watch Dragon Ball Kai in like another window because I haven't seen Dragon Ball Kai, and that's supposed to be closer to the manga than Dragon Ball Z was, and it's supposed to be completely rewritten. I want to watch that. I'm not going to be spending all my time, and I am so fucking hype right now for Resurrection of Frieza. You didn't know it was Frieza, right? You didn't know it was Frieza. It's Frieza, by the way. Resurrection F. I'm so hyped for that movie. This is fucking great. I fucking love Dragon Ball Z. I fucking grew up with Dragon Ball Z. I didn't just grow up with Dragon Ball Z. My adult life was, watching Dragon Ball Z and getting the movies and such. So, this new Dragon Ball Z, and there's a Dragon Ball, brawler RPG that's fucking amazing out, and hopefully it gets a sequel. They damn well better get a sequel. This game is amazing. This game is fucking great. I am so immeasurably hype right now. And Resident Evil Revelations 2, it's actually a good game. The boss fights are annoying as fuck. But the game itself is great. This is a good horror game. Beneath all the myriad technical issues this game had, there's actually a decent horror game in here, and it's fucking fun. And then you have Shadowrun Hong Kong coming later this year. Yeah. You have fucking Phantom Pain coming out later this year. It's so hyped for all kinds of stuff this year, and STO is just not going to be the core of my being that it used to be anymore. I'm still going to be playing it. I'm still going to be enjoying it. I'm still going to be enjoying bitching about it. But STO is not going to be the be-all, end-all of my channel anymore. I'm going to be branching out and doing other stuff. Going to be doing a lot of Xenoverse stuff. There's going to be a Xenoverse show, I'm thinking, as well. And I'm already sort of planning that. This does not sound good. I'm actually, Like, yeah, you know, like sort of like fist catch, you know, like all fucking gypsy danger. And this does not sound right at all. I'm hearing it through the headset. This doesn't sound right. I'm still doing it. Is it creepy yet? It's creepy, isn't it? Does that mean I should do it more? I don't know. Oh, this mic. This is a really shitty microphone, by the way. You may have noticed. You may have noticed this mic is kind of terrible. A little congested. I also had to fight off a cold, which is another reason why this took so long to get back. It's always something, isn't it? So we're going to go ahead and do this. This is the, this mission is, what the fuck is this mission? Do not expect, like, all that glitters, yes. Join the doctor to respond to a medical emergency. So we're going to meet, I almost said Pertwee. That'd be kind of cool, actually. No, Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi is the doctor right now. Going to meet Peter Capaldi. Actually, we're going to be meeting Robert Picardo as reprising his role as the EMH. Now, I have heard Robert Picardo in a dream sequence, and he was very, "This is a dream sequence. This is, you are having a nightmare, and I am a nightmare monster" voice. So I haven't heard him actually delivering his lines as the EMH Mark 1. We're going to see how this goes. Garrett Wang has done a really good job. Of course, he's the best Wang in the world, apparently, according to, what was it, People magazine? So, yeah. He's one of the 100 most beautiful Wangs in the world. So, he did, of course he did a good job. I'm still not letting that go. Expect more. Expect a lot of that when we get to these. Let's see. Jerry Ryan has done an okay job, although 7 is a yard, like Tuvok is a yardstick, so it would be pretty hard to not do a decent job when you are talking like this. Ethan Phillips so far has been the best. Ethan Phillips so far has delivered the best performance out of them. And I know I'm hold on. Refresh the capture file. I know that I'm giving compliments to Neelix here. He showed up with booze. Why did he meet me with booze? Like, why is Neelix, like, showing up, like, drunk? Like, what is going on? So yeah, I do like a lot of the ethical ambiguity, like moral and ethical ambiguity going on, like that we're actually making an effort to like show some ambiguity to what the Federation is doing out here. Like we're back in the Delta Quadrant, we're back in season 2 of Voyager essentially. Although, something that I do not like is the fact that there is zero reaction to Starfleet being back here almost. Like, people don't see, like the last thing they saw was, like, Voyager, which is, like, a 15-deck. It's, like, compare it to a Galaxy class. You see where my cursor is? I don't know if you can actually see my cursor. Hang on, I should check that. Okay, you should see my mouse cursor now, if you weren't seeing it before. So, you see this? You see this, like, right here? Like this? This is about the height of Voyager. Like, right here. This is about the length of Voyager. Voyager is, like, not even half the size of this thing. And I really would have liked if they had, like, suddenly, like, their first contact with the Federation in a long time had been just this fucking beast showing up instead of like the pissant starship they were dealing with like fucking 30 years ago. They're like, they just saw this and went, Jesus, what in the shit? What the fuck is that thing? That would have been nice. Just like, the fuck? Just like, see the Kazon like showing up thinking they're gonna kick like the Federation's ass like in the days of yore, and just have like this beast show up and have them just react to this like 40 deck 600 like meter long beast show up, like heavily armed, like densely shielded monster. Just have them go like it's almost the size of their fucking carriers almost, and it's like, holy shit. Just have them like realize I love the little detail. Like, they included a lot of little details on this model that I appreciate. I especially like that they got this right. These 4 windows right here. These 4 windows right here were a location you saw a lot if you watched Next Generation. These 4 windows are the location of 10 forward. It was actually like below the rim of the saucer. And there was actually, I forget which episode it was, but there was this really nice close-up that showed you what was in like this rim, like in this like the sort of like in this like inset line across like the rim. There's actually like tons of like sensor clusters and such, and it gave you a really nice view of that, along with a really nice view of these windows in front of 10 forward. The captain's yacht is nicely detailed. Disappointing that we do not have it. These things, I think, are supposed to be landing gear or something. Is that what they were supposed to be? Because I don't remember. I think they're supposed to be landing gear, though. Like at least sort of like fan things on either side. Because I know this thing was not supposed to land it, but it was supposed to be able to land. Like in case of an emergency. Because remember, the saucer is a glorified lifeboat. The placement of the transporter emitters, that's what these things are. These long rectangular things, those are transporter emitters. To my knowledge, anyways. Those seem to be correct. These, I'm not sure if these are correct. Or I'm not sure if it's there or down here, but I know there's a lot of like big irregular shaped windows into parks. Although the arboretum windows are there. That's what this goes. It goes to basically like this big greenhouse section of the ship is right here. At least I think that's what it is. There's detail, you can't see it, but there's actually like numbers beneath like the shuttle base. I think this is 2 and 3. And it's hard to see in this light. Let me see if I can turn the ship a little bit. But there's actually like EVA doors. That's what these 2 things are. They're EVA doors for like repairs and such, like big wide doors into space. You like see them there? That's what they're supposed to be. They're like big wide doors into space so that like they can conduct repairs and such. So yeah, really great job on the model. And the server's not responding because I turned around because the server is dying. Hello, server. Wow. Yep. Welcome back. So I've actually decided to go with my character's proper name. His name is, and I will show you. We'll probably end up in the sector block again. That is a featured mission that takes place after the missions that I'm currently going through, so I haven't played it yet. And we're back in this map. Okay, at least we're back in the same map. So I've actually like altered the name to be his like proper name. His name is Drake Person. A lot of people used to try to guess what his name was, and I got a lot of weird stuff, like up to and including like Duck Puncher. Duck Puncher seemed to be like the most common thing people like came up with. I don't know why. You'd think it would be somebody like walking around calling himself DP. You'd think, like, if your mind was dirty, and everybody's mind is dirty, your mind would go somewhere else. I don't know where Duck Puncher was coming from. Is it like, I don't think it was a Doom joke, because the Doom joke would be Turkey Puncher. So, but yeah, his proper name is Drake Person. At the behest of Imveculus, it was originally like Person, as it was one S. As a person, and it was actually a reference to a character in Phantasy Star Online named Ellie Person, who is an NPC you meet in a side quest in episode 1, becomes fairly significant in episode 2. Becomes very significant in episode 2, in fact. She's a key character in, like, what was it called? Like, it's either Seed of the Heart or Phantasmal World. Like, the big... Like, it was basically the big finale for episode 2. Like the mission that tied up the loose ends of like every side character the game had introduced up until that point. So yeah, it was a reference to Phantasy Star Online. Nobody guessed it. Nobody guessed it. Like, okay, that's not true. Some people in a Kittimer Accord run guessed it. They guessed it after I gave them a little, after I was sporting and gave them a few clues, and they congratulated me on knowing how to fuck with people. So at the behest of Inveculus, I added like a second S in there. So yeah, it's kind of a Scandinavian. Sort of like maybe like distant Scandinavian ancestry. Distant, you know. But yeah, that's his name, and that's the name I'm going to be using from now on. Drake Person. I figured it was time. So we have to meet up with the shuttle. That's a freighter. So we got to find the doctor. And the doctor is in a shuttle. Type 8 shuttle. So they have sent a major character flying across the quadrant in a impulse shuttle. Voyager. Seems the command structure is relatively intact. You couldn't have sprung for a fucking runabout for your chief medical officer, Tuvok? Just saying. Oh my god, that is not a Type 8 shuttle. 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 That is a Type 10 shuttle. That is even worse than a Type 8 shuttle. That is a Defiant-class shuttlecraft. That is a Defiant-class piece of shit. Holy shit, Tuvok. That is a Defiant-class pile of garbage. That thing is more rickety than the lunar lander. It was only ever shown once. In one episode of Deep Space Nine, where it barely survived the landing. Yeah, that's a Chaffee. That's the fucking... That's a fucking Defiant shuttle. Holy shit. You couldn't even spring for a Type 8. You wouldn't even spring for a Type 8 shuttle with, like, dual phaser cannons for your fucking chief medical officer. Holy shit, Tuvok. Tuvok is a psychopath, by the way, if you've played Mindscape. Tuvok is deeply fucked up. Holy shit. And Voyager's supposed to be Gecko's favorite show? Like, the shit, like... Tuvok's got shit lurking in his mind that fucking SF debris couldn't come up with. Like, Holy shit. He's worse than parody. Like, his mind is probably a more almost more warped than parody Janeway. And that's fucking saying something. Damn. You gave... That thing can't even travel at warp. Holy shit. You alright, Doc?
Pleased to meet you. I scanned your service record before your arrival. You've been in quite a few battles, haven't you? Ever stop to think about the strain you're putting on your medical crew before you charge into combat? Of course you don't. No captain ever does.
That's the wrong background, by the way. That's a runner. So they're calling it a Type 8 shuttle, using a Type 10 model, and using a runabouts background. There is absolutely nothing here that is consistent. Also, that's not the view screen to my bridge. So, pretty much everything before us is wrong. Star Trek Online. Nice to meet you too, by the way.
We've been hailing this Ocampan freighter for some time, but we're not getting a response, and our sensors cannot penetrate their shields. Their initial distress signals indicated that they were suffering from Paraniste measles. I can treat it easily, if I can get onto the ship. Now that your ship is here, it should be trivial to board the vessel and assess the situation. Transport me aboard your vessel, and then my shuttle can return to Voyager.
You mean your shuttle can get, like, shot by the Kazon because it's an impulse shuttle? Have fun with that, Lima.
Excellent. Your ship has more powerful sensors than my shuttle.
Whatever. Have fun with that, Lima. I'm sure that's going to be a blast. Lima's this chief medical officer, by the way. So she's going to be having all kinds of fun entertaining Dr. Picardo. Or Dr. Van Gogh. That's probably what I'm going to call him, is Dr. Van Gogh, because that was his name. What was his name? So it was like there was an episode where Kess was like going to, like, she was in the future and she was like going like through the past. No. Is that right? No, she was like flashing to the future? No, she was flashing to the past. She was like going backwards through forward or backwards. It was timey-wimey, okay? And she was going and she like met a version of the Doctor from like a possible future, and he had taken the name Van Gogh. So that's probably what I'm calling him. I'm going to call him because his name, he also took the name Joe in the finale of Voyager. He took the name Joe, which was he was like marrying somebody, and like her father's name was Joe, so he decided to take the name Joe. You know, he named himself after her old man, and so yeah, that's his name. That's the name I'm going to be calling him from now on, is Joe Van Gogh. That's settled. That's happening. All right, Joe, let's scan the ship.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Okay. This is slightly annoying. Bye. Gall, weren't you in Dragon's Teeth? Weren't you really loud in Dragon's Teeth? I mean, really super loud? Holy shit. Okay, there we go. Oi. So yeah, by the way, the Waglinde's pretty badass nowadays. And you may have noticed my engine's firing really hot. That's because of specializations. I was told by Andrew to hold off on this, but I couldn't resist. And I put a bunch of stuff into the pilot specialization. So whenever this thing is fired at from behind, they can eat my dust. And I get like massive buffs to like speed and maneuverability. And what the fuck? What is the proper? Was it eat my dust? When attacker fires upon the rear arc of your ship, you gain a stacking bonus to your defense, making your ship harder and harder to hit. And it announces this by like flaring your engines hotter. Like it doesn't just go like blue because I have like the adapted Mako engines on. It goes blue like whenever you have the visuals turned off as well. So it's like your engines are literally burning hotter, like they've gone like indigo hot. You know, and it's like, yeah. I wish all the powers worked like that. Like all the powers were like announced like that instead of like this flashy bullshit. Like I hate that. Like I would like all the powers to be a lot more minimalist in their appearance than that. Anywho.
Greetings. I am Gaul, leader of the Vaudouar Supremacy. I apologize for the overzealousness of my soldiers. This action was not authorized.
I kind of kick their asses, dude. I can kick your ass too if you want. If you want. Gaul. Is that the guy from Dragon's Teeth? I should probably rewatch Dragon's Teeth. I am Admiral Person of the Waglinde. I'm going to say I'm Captain Person because all this Admiral bullshit is dumb.
I'm pleased to finally meet you. It appears your presence here in the Delta Quadrant has inadvertently caused some conflict between us.
This is probably caused by you shooting at me, brother.
Avoid any more unpleasantness.
Come kick your ass.
Be willing to meet with me face to face.
Yes, but found such talks are best on neutral grounds.
That is understandable. You have a location in mind? There are not many areas of the Delta Quadrant where my people are not reviled.
I might know a place. I'll be back with you in a moment. Please hold. We're gonna yeah, sure. Let's take the genocidal conquerors to Neelix's planet. I'm excited about this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Oh, what a wonderful surprise. Is there anything I can do for you?
I want to bring the biggest threat to the Delta Quadrant since the Borg to your planet for a meeting on neutral ground. What do you think? Get the fuck out! Click. Are you No! Fuck you! Hello, Neelix. We need a neutral place for a diplomatic negotiation with the Vaudouar. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to do like some like kind of Mr. Popo abridged thing, I guess. Hello, Neelix. We need a neutral place for a diplomatic negotiation with the Vaudouar. And I was hoping you could help.
Diplomatic negotiations? I am Starfleet's ambassador to the Delta Quadrant. I would be more than happy to offer my services as mediator.
We're all dead.
As for the location, Dexa and most of our people are on New Talax now, but we still have the asteroid base in the Intaba system. It's mostly empty now, just a few cleanup crews, and the Kazon have been leaving it alone. It would be perfect.
Oh, I could be a complete asshole here. See, I could tell him the asteroid base sounds perfect. Your diplomatic assistance, however, no need to trouble yourself. I could be a complete asshole. Renegade!